So, how many of you have been on this side of the camera? None. Maureen. So I'm going to share a few secrets with you that might help you with your personal walk, with your business. Eventually, you do need to address people, whether it's your block party, or getting a school PTA, or getting a park district, or just standing up in front of your kid's teacher going, I can't believe this is happening, in hopefully a positive way. Eventually, we need to deliver a message. Eventually, we have to get outside of ourselves and convince somebody else the truth that looks and feels like something that they don't already know. It's converting a fact into their reality. And how do we do that? Well, luckily in Lake County, you have the best of the best. Every time I come up here, I feel like I'm going on vacation. And isn't that the point? Isn't that what your businesses are all about? Now I understand some of you are in the financial area, or some of you are back of the house, and you're not seeing the guests. If you're not seeing the guests that you're serving and the visitors that are attracted here, then go find them. Get yourself to that corner health food store. They run an amazing store. Even if you don't like lavender and tofu, make sure you visit. They might try to convert you. But they love people in the way that they genuinely embrace service. There are so many special businesses up here that make Lake County so unique. There's no other place like it in the world, at least in my eyes. And believe me, when Maureen and the team calls and they want to do something, I am so encouraged by the vibrancy of the team. They are like family. In fact, Jonathan, am I on for cranberries at Thanksgiving?
Sure, why not?
All right, I'm in. This is like family, mostly because of you, because they're representing you, and you already know that. I've been working with CVBs for many years. My first day after college was the Drake Hotel front desk. And imagine that front desk. I was absolutely terrified. I wore a uniform. My boss said after 2 hours, she said, well, I think you got the hang of it. I am now running the hotel front desk, 550 rooms. And up walks Peter Falk. I don't know if you know. Some of us might. Columbo, i.e. detective. I don't know if he's here as a detective or just a guest. Well, when he put his feet on the desk and on the furniture, I kind of got which way he was going to go. He was just another guest. So I have been working with guests. Maureen mentioned family. My grandfather had a hotel outside of a small place called Disney World. It was not Disney World. It was just swampland in the middle of Florida, and now look at. So being able to look at things experientially is so important to me. In 1 hour, she's going to share with me all the amazing things. You have all the answers. Well, then you're thinking, why did I show up?
Yeah.
You have deep within you. And if you don't, somebody on your team does. And if you don't have a team, you still have a board of directors, people that help shape the message that you live every day in your business. So think about who is on your board of directors. Every day, the Visit Lake County team reports to a board of directors who ultimately could be part of you, could be people that you relate to, teammates, people in the business environment. So they created a logo. Mary Priller and team created a logo just for us, Visit Lake County Customer Experience. In the real world of training and teaching and learning, it's called CX. So customer service is kind of not passé, but we're morphing into what? An experience. Isn't that what you sell? You come to Lake County for an experience. Now you might be working, you might be coming here just to work, I get that, but still it's the way we work, and it's the time and the thought that Visit Lake County and your tax dollars are making it happen on a very consistent basis. How do the water stay so clean? How do the roads do what they need to be doing, even in construction? They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is getting better. So here we are, and just a major thanks to the Doubletree Hotel. The staff is sensational. I've been here a number of times, professionally speaking, and there is hardly a service that's compared. Now you might be coming from a hotel, and I honor that too. You probably offer just the same spirit. So this will be our journey from left to right and then left to right. We're going to be discussing for 15 minutes the Visit Lake County service culture, what you told me and what I have observed in over 5 years. I have driven to the Volo Auto Museum. I have driven to your hotel. I've eaten at Bill's. I've done everything that I could possibly do. in Lake County. I stayed at a hotel that is now the Great Wolf Lodge. I have been in your world, so don't be shocked if I know a little bit about your business, but all to say it's very good, all A+. So, pardon me. We're going to then talk about the customer journey and how the moments of truth, how everything you do is adding to the greater whole. Everything. You think the one email that you didn't get to on a Friday before a holiday, that's the one that the person will read because they're at their desk. If you make that extra effort, they're on the receiving end. And so don't ever think that people aren't understanding and appreciating the smaller things that you do. And that will be discussing the moments of truth. Thirdly, we're going to do a deeper dive into Visit Lake County and the customer experience and how we can elevate what you're already doing really well, but maybe just tweak it in a different way. Only you know how your businesses are run, but I'm able to share with you just a little bit of expert advice, what happens in different organizations. I've worked in Saudi Arabia, I've worked for 7-Eleven, I've worked for park districts, and I have worked in major political environments that are not only government, but political, and all told, it's the human experience. So, our culture, as you described it, so when we consider customer service, I did a flip, or I'm going to ask you, what are those two pictures about? One is about service, one is about experience. Which one, Deb, is about experience? Which one says to you, there's more of an experience waiting to happen, or which one is the reactive, proactive to reactive, right? Where's the customer service department? I need a refund, right? Which one of those says that for you?
The one that actually says customer service would be the experience.
Very good. In fact, that they've said that. In fact, where is it and why is it in the back of the store, Eddie? Why is it in the back of the store? It's because, and he has a good answer.
You're less likely to visit there.
You're less likely to visit there, but they want you to travel through, meandering to the store, right? Anybody who's faced a store, right, retail, if you do have a question, they want you to pass by all the options of buying. Not pass by, but actually make a deliberate purchase and get there. It's a wonder why school supplies are at a certain retailer that uses a red round and round and round and round, right? School supplies in the back. There's a reason for that. So think about where we are placing this idea of service and being proactive. Think about the first time your grandmother gave you something that reminds you of her food-wise. Mine was muscatole, believe it or not. And she wasn't even Italian. We thought it was very exotic, right, in the 60s. We couldn't even pronounce it. But it was not out of a can like Chef Boyardee. It was an experience. It came out of the oven. She wore an oven mitt. She put it in the oven and put it on our plate as if it looked like it was on the left. That was an experience. And think about that time for you nostalgically when you felt so loved and embraced by a customer experience. Aha, on the left, what do we have? Alex, featured on the left, Exhibit A.
Some sort of a hot, frothy beverage.
Some sort of a hot, frothy beverage. Now that it's pumpkin season, though, especially in Lake County, we know that there are a lot of pumpkins out there ripe and ready to be worn into a fashionable pumpkin spice latte by a certain I'm into round circles today, green and with a welcoming gesture from a certain character out of Seattle, but piloted in Chicago. So the difference of handing someone a coffee or just a blank is a transaction. Here you go. Not, here's your pumpkin spice latte. Rita, you come here usually on Tuesday, but we're glad to see you again this week. It must be a hard week. She's double dipping for the coffee. That's an experience. Anybody can hand you a coffee. Anybody can be generic and just say that your business is just like that. We met our numbers. Is that good enough? It's not good enough for me and my business. We just met our numbers. We met goal. Great, good for you. What's next? Because if we're not investing in the believer and the consumer, that's about to happen for us. And that's the difference of those two. It's the same stuff inside. It's how you're presenting it. You said this when we asked what kinds of companies deliver, quote, The ultimate customer experience. I did not ask customer service. Anybody can give a rebate, right? Do they? Well, but if that's service to you, then I'm okay with that. If it's helpful to you having free shipping and that's guest service, customer service to you, I'm also okay with that. It's whatever's important to the end user, that's where we are. Some of you said more locally, the Great Wolf Lodge or Van Mar. Others of you chose more nationally known products, the staples, the first thing that comes to mind. Why? Disney, boom. Nordstrom, boom. Operationally, yes. They do a lot of things well. Are they perfect? No. But they ask good questions. They make their guests, consumers and visitors feel like they're part of the program. When was the last time we asked our customers, how are we doing? My worst day in a hotel is at the end, the group is checking out, and I hear someone at the front desk saying, how was your stay? There's no opportunity at that point. You might say, well, when are you coming back so we can make it better? You've had 4 days. They've been in your hotel. They've swum in your swimming pool. They've drank the drink. Whatever it was, they were here. Why do we ask at the end? So each of you shared with that opportunity. And why you said those, and I don't like lots of words on the slides, but we'll work with this. So if yours is on there, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. It's just all in the flood of it. Facilities are clean. That might mean everything. If you've ever traveled internationally, we just assume things will be clean here. Our international visitors are shocked when they see the cleanliness of our operations. 360 customer service all the way around. Somebody does like free gift wrapping. Believe me, when you're in a time pinch and that's the deal, whatever is the more interesting effect for each guest or consumer is the most important. Some folks really like offering the guidance that they got. That in a business, when I walk into a car dealership, I'm there to be educated. I'm not there to be sold, but I am there to be educated. And the person who takes that moment with me to describe why front wheel alignment, I can barely say it, is important, I need to know that as a consumer that that's really is important, that I will pay extra for someone to guide me in that way. In your businesses, is that something you're offering? Why is it in restaurants that I have to describe exactly what celiac or gluten-free means when my husband is that? And when they're not sure of it, it's no longer a trend. I don't mean to be an advocate of one diet over another, although the 30 whole was a wreck for my life. But I can think about this great service in a return situation. No business wants anything to be returned. In fact, how many times are we in an attraction where we get to return something? You can come back tomorrow. Great, you had 1 day. The play will be running tomorrow afternoon, a matinee as well. You're on a plane, you're in your car. We don't get to do do-overs, do we, in the attraction and the service business. We don't get to really do over in the dining and other businesses. Unless you're crafting a hard product right now, you really don't get the do-overs. So we need to be as proactive and offer the experience first. This is what some of you might have said about an organization. I just underlined what seemed like the highlights. There might be a word that's more important for you, but always have a smile, find a solution. I didn't quite think about Disney being gracious until I experienced it myself, and it wasn't at Disney. It was at the Michigan Avenue store. Now, you got to believe that's where dreams are made. That's where dreams begin for little kids who might never make it to Disney, right? But they get to go and they get a puppet of Olaf, my personal crush. He is amazing. And so are so many of these characters that kind of live out and build a dream for children, but more so to parents. If you're able to buy a gift for somebody, if you get to go or you have to go to the Disney store, or whatever that culture may look like for you, maybe that's not the one. And that's why we have choice. Somebody said, and that is Chick-fil-A if you've not been, some people would argue that not being open on a Sunday might be a calamity if that's the only restaurant in town, or some people might not like the sauce in the packets, or there's always going to be that one guest, right, that's going to say, this doesn't work for me. But in this environment, they make you feel like the number one customer. And so I have to be a little objective about all of these, whether they're good or not. It's only good whether it's good for you. Your best and your worst customer, your most loyal, they're both talking about you. And if they're not, you need to get them talking about you. Because if you're not happy with how they're talking about you, then what are you doing? And in the social media phase, which I've understood is no longer a passing phase, that people will continue. We're providing more and more platforms for consumers. And how do we keep ahead? We thought it was the best night. It wasn't their best night. We thought, but did we ask the question? So other points on your surveys, again reflective to you in the 15-minute segment, is this is what you said that your business and how it relates to customer service. And you can look to see if yours is on there, and I tried to be as fair as I could. When I got to efficient, some businesses have to be efficient. I work with an international grease company. Why is that important? They make the grease for all mix masters in the world. Why is that important? Have you ever gone into someone's kitchen baking cookies and the mixers, making, somebody here knows how to make that sound. That is not pleasant. The businesses that are invisible are really important. If your business is one of those and you're providing a service that other people rely on to make their business better, how many times you say, my accountant knows that, right? You rely on people who are just in your business just enough to be knowing about it. And so being efficient is not horrible. Being complacent, I would suggest, is. So not every business would admit that they're complacent. And complacent could mean they are just relaxed and that they're not doing something higher. Well, now we have an opportunity. It doesn't matter where we've been. It really is about where we are able to go. So there wouldn't be any probably surprises from all of these. But what I really enjoyed was seeing how Visit Lake County members suggested that how you feel about Lake County. And I loved it that the positivity was genuine. And this is all out there. The first word that came up was partnership. That was just teeming from all the surveys. And that good neighbors, that is so important. If you believe in the Macy's gimbal in the 34th, Miracle on 34th Street, we don't have it, but they do. I love that when I approach, and that honesty. They have now garnered my trust, and now I'm a lifelong customer because even though they didn't have it, they recommended. So when I go to one of the museums in town, in your area, and I'm looking for a place to eat, unabashedly, they might make a suggestion. I love that camaraderie and that idea of being neighbors. I also enjoy a cultural experience. Cultural experience doesn't mean it's a multisyllabic artist that's coming to the local museum. It can be an enriching. I mentioned a health food store earlier. Whatever is culturally enriching and making you do something that you normally wouldn't do is a cultural shift, cultural experience. Of course, passion and the feel good. That was very inspiring to see the feel good. When you're interviewing and someone asks you, what's the best part of you? And you say, I like to make people feel good. Well, it depends on who you're interviewing with. Most of the time, they're still looking at your numbers and what you're able to do for the company and your efficiencies, right, and your skills. But in the end, it's how we stay in our jobs and it's how we deliver to our customers that feel good is permanent. The Maya Angelou that says, it's not what you did, it's not what you said, but it's how you made me feel. There couldn't be, for me, a more profound opportunity to shape someone's experience in getting them to see how they feel. And so going around, the number one word for me in Visit Lake County is the word all. It's on the upper left. Because you are representing an entire entity. You may not look at that every time this beautiful ballroom is filled. But to get this ballroom filled, it takes people. It takes the gasoline gas station across the street. It takes, they forgot something, so they're running down the street to the the retailer to get something quick. They're relying on the inclusivity of the entire area. You're selling a product every time you pick up the phone to get somebody to beg them to come here, and you're so excited, and then they come, and then they tell everybody else why they came. And that's the job of the VLC itself and the team, but it's also all of our jobs to make that commitment to share the experience of Lake County.